Hi, it's Ian Schnoor. Welcome back to my video series on the top 10 reasons that your balance sheet doesn't balance. In this video, I will share my 7th of 10 tips on what to look for when a balance sheet doesn't balance. Now, in the last 2 videos, I talked about a major problem that often prevents balance sheets from balancing, and that is sign issues. We talked about the fact that there are some points in every model where certain numbers have to be positive and other times when those same values need to be negative. And if you don't make the switch, your balance sheet won't balance. In the last 2 videos, we reviewed this issue with regards to CapEx. And then in the last video, we talked about working capital. And I talked about how and why you have to be able to flip the sign at times on those 2 issues. In this video, I want to talk about the third sign issue that causes problems in people's models, and that relates to dividends. So let's go into the model and I will show you exactly here what I am talking about. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and so we can take a look here at the model. Here we go. Okay, so back into the model here, we've got, once again, the Henderson model, and this is starting off with the assumption sheet. You can see I've got the assumption tab, and we said that we're going to talk about dividends. So on the assumption page, there's a box for equity, and there are some of the key equity assumptions. One of the equity assumptions is that this company has a dividend, a common dividend payout rate or ratio of 20%. And then we'll talk about that. Really what that means is that they will pay out 20% of their net income as a dividend every year. So that's the assumption on the assumption sheet. Now let's go take a look at the equity schedule in the model. So when I flip to the model sheet, we can see here I've got the shareholders equity schedule, and at the very top here is the common share section. Now, the beginning, change, and ending. The beginning is the dollar amount, the dollar amount of the common shares, how much had been invested, sort of the par amount that we call it, the capital raised effectively. That's a book value number for the balance sheet. At the beginning, change, and ending, it would only change every year. It would only change every year if there was a new equity issuance or if there was a buyback, a share buyback of the common equity. But down below here, we can see I'm repeating the assumption value, and we are going to be paying out 20% of net income as a dividend. So we've got the dividend payout rate. Then I repeated net income here. So you can see this cell. I'm simply repeating this. This is a concept we talk a lot about in the AFM video series, is repeat. We like to repeat a lot of our values that we're going to use because it makes our calculation simple. Now, the common dividend very simply is going to be, it will be a multiplication of the dividend payout rate multiplied by net income, of course, and you can see that here. So I'm doing that. It is the dividend payout ratio multiplied by the net income. We're using a max function as well. We're saying take the maximum of that or 0 because we want to make sure that if net income is negative, I do not want to see a negative dividend. Now, the key though here is this: the common dividend is positive. It's a positive value because it is my dividend. This company is going to pay a $6 million dividend in 2022, and then they'll pay a $2.7 million dividend, etc. You can see the dividend values across each of the years. They're positive numbers. It's the dividend. However, the problem and where we need to flip the sign is down below. When we get to the retained earnings always looks like this. Underneath it, there's a beginning, then we add in the net income, and then you have to subtract the dividend. Do you see that here? Here, the net income has to be negative. So all I'm doing is I'm taking the dividend from up top and I'm flipping it. I'm replacing the sign. It has to reduce retained earnings. The net income has to reduce retained earnings, and as you can see, the ending balance of retained earnings is a sum, but it includes a reduction by the amount of the dividend. The dividend here is negative. So here, the dividend is positive, and down below in retained earnings, it must be negative. Now, what some people do is they will say to me, well, is it okay to make it positive? Could you make it positive here and then simply subtract, do this, take the beginning plus the net income and then minus? You could, but I see people get into trouble doing this all the time. I strongly encourage you to always make your ending balances a sum like this. And by the way, an accountant will always show the dividend as a negative value within retained earnings. So this is more common convention. If you do this correctly, the balance sheet will work. Watch what happens if I don't. Watch what happens, and I see this all the time when people have a dividend that's positive in the common share section, and then they forget to change the sign. So they leave it positive here. And now the common dividend is increasing the retained earnings. It's making retained earnings go up. When I go back up to my balance sheet now, you will see here as I go up to the balance sheet, suddenly the balance sheet is not balanced. In row 188, the balance sheet is out of balance. You can see here it's out, and that's because the cash is going down. The cash is going down, but the retained earnings is going up by the amount of the dividend. So it's not in sync. It's not working. The balance sheet is off. Now, I should mention this could become an equally large problem if you forget in another spot. If you forget twice, you can see here I'm up on the cash flow statement. In the cash flow statement, we always show common dividends in the financing sections. And again, it's got to be negative here because it's a cash outflow. The dividend must be negative on a cash flow statement. It is a cash outflow. And so here you can see I have also made it negative. But if you forget in both places, sometimes people forget in all places. People have their dividend positive everywhere. I've seen that as well. This is almost a worse problem because now, of course, the cash is going up. Cash is going up by the amount of the dividend, and the retained earnings is also going up. So, of course, as you can see here, my balance sheet is still balanced, but of course, you know it's wrong. So I did say that dividends often lead to an imbalance in a balance sheet. It often causes a balance sheet not to balance. However, if you make the mistake twice, you will balance, even though we still have a big error. There's a big error here because the dividends are going the wrong way. So to summarize here quickly, let's fix it up. What you need to make sure is when you are building your dividends in a financial model on the shareholder equity schedule, the actual dividend needs to be positive because it is your dividend. However, in retained earnings, it must be negative. You must flip the sign and make it negative here. And then, of course, when you get to the cash flow statement, the dividend is reducing the cash. It is a cash outflow out of the company. So the dividend must also be flipped and be negative on the cash flow statement. If you get that correct, now watch what happens. The cash is going down by the amount of the dividend, and the retained earnings is going down, and the balance sheet is in balance. So let me stop my screen here and wrap this video up. I mentioned that there are 3 critical issues with regards to signs in models where you have to have the number positive sometimes and other times negative. The last one was dividends. You need to make sure that when you build dividends in a model, whether it's for a common dividend or a preferred dividend, the actual dividend will show up positive, but it has to reduce retained earnings and it has to be a cash outflow on the cash flow statement. If you get that right, you'll never have that issue with dividends causing an imbalanced balance sheet in your models. See you back for the next one, tip 8 on the top reasons why your balance sheet doesn't balance. Now is a great time to further develop your Excel and financial modeling skills. Becoming an AFM will accelerate your career opportunities and professional growth. Enhance your resume with a globally recognized accreditation.